Mike's Daily Podcast.
FM episode 1981. 1981. That year. That was that one where
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I think a song came out from the Police that was pretty cool. Hey, we're doing another podcast. It's something a little bit past the last one I did was also very early in the morning. I mean, it was late at night, and then I can't talk because I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Because I'm at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Anyway, Mike's Daily Podcast.
Podcastro Valley, Mont today, the last place on Earth. We might have sound effects today.
Mike's
Isn't that exciting?
Daily
Well,
Podcast.
let's see, I think I got 6 hours sleep. Sleep is important, everyone. That's why we get up at 4 in the morning today. Wow. Because Mike doesn't care about sleep. Oh, yes, he does. But sometimes his job requires him to show up early. I heard a lot about the coronavirus on my way into work. I was listening to some podcast, actually the Up First podcast that NPR does. And then I also listened to Town Hall News. And they were all talking about the same thing, and that is the doctor who discovered the coronavirus has died. And there is this big thing happening in China right now where they are mad. The people are mad, and the government can't do a dang thing about it. The more they do, the more angry the people get. And people are, it's the description that I heard was horrifying of what's happening over there. That people are put in wards, people are just moved around like cattle. They're put in these buildings basically where they wait to die, that kind of thing. It reminds me a lot of what happened a few years back with the what was that one?
And here's today's podcast picture.
The one in Africa, I can't remember now. Shoot. Anyway, Cafe Anyway, we just don't know what I can say as far as like what we need to do. We need to be do our best here in America to keep it from spreading here. But what do we do for the people over there? I don't know. Your suggestions, 336MM Daily, 3 + 3 = 6, MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what this podcast is. But when there's a huge Ebola, thank you, couldn't think of it, Ebola virus. And when that happened, we were just, yes, Basil was outraged that it's happening. These things, these awful things that happen in other countries. It just makes you go, what? What's going on? Basil the Boxer has a couple things to say today. One of it is Happy Friday. The other is Mike is attempting to quit coffee. Yes, a couple weeks back when I got sick with some kind of stomach thing, and I think it was because I drank too much coffee. And ever since then, basically, I've been trying to get coffee out of my life, and this is a perfect opportunity because I had to stop drinking coffee because if I drank coffee, and then just the thought of coffee made me sick. But all that acidity was bad for me. And then I just stayed away from it. Had a cup here and there, and it just really didn't sit well with me. So I think Mike has become anti-coffee after all these years. And I love coffee, and it all goes back to when I was in Germany visiting my mother's mother, my grandmother, my Oma, as we say in Germany. And she took me to get some coffee ice cream. And I thought it was so delicious. And we're sitting in this little coffee place, which was still there actually when I visited in 2009. I noticed it was still there. It was in the town of, it's spelt like worms, but I think they say Worms. And I remember eating this delicious coffee ice cream with my grandmother, my Oma, and the smells of coffee. So it had this really good association. People that have bad associations with coffee in general, like they didn't like the smell or whatever. I knew a guy who never drank coffee because his parents drank it all the time, and he said it just, like, the smell of it, and he maybe had issues with his parents. I don't know. But it's interesting what we can easily drop and what takes us forever to drop. What takes us forever to let go. What some people obsess about. I was thinking the other day about how I used to obsess when Basil could still walk. Now he doesn't walk. Well, he needs the help of yours truly to help him walk. And now he's mostly he's a retired dog. He's in retirement. And I think that's the first time I have ever said that on this show. But it's true. He's in retirement. He likes to sleep a lot. And he's a perfect bookend to the fake cat that we got the other day from some friends. They gave us this Hallmark cat from Hallmark stores. It's a cat that's not alive, but it looks like it's alive because it's breathing. But all it does is it just sleeps. It doesn't move. It can't move because it's just like a little doll type thing. So he's in retirement. But at any rate, I was walking Basil the Boxer back in his younger days when he sounded more like this. Yes, in his puppy days. And we were walking along, and there's this kid, two kids on horses, and this is in the middle of this. I mean, it's this time of year basically, and we've had some rains, and we're on a dirt trail. They've got a lot of lovely dirt trails in the Castro Valley area, and you can't walk on these trails because these horses have just obliterated them with their huge hooves, and they're heavy, beautiful animals, but they're walking along and just destroying. Yeah, you buddy, just destroying the trails. And so you're walking in mud and you're slipping and it's dangerous. And these kids just keep walking on this. And I used to get so mad at these kids. I was such old man guy. Just, yeah. What are you doing?
Even businessmen that rob and steal and cheat from people every day, even they have to pay taxes.
Well, not that quite kind of old guy, but yeah, I'm thinking about taxes these days.
Geez, I'm going crazy out there at the lake.
More like this as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley 10 today, the last place on earth.
Hey, man, I'm 91 years old. Got that? I deserve a little respect from you, my buddy.
You're darn tootin'.
So yeah, you can't really obsess about stuff too much. It's unhealthy. Maybe obsess about getting to work on time. That, after a while, is unhealthy as well. But there are certain things, just obsession. It's a very tricky thing. Trying not to do it is very difficult. As I have spoken to a good therapist friend of mine, it takes a lot of work, and it's something you just have to be conscious of, that it's something you're going to be fighting the rest of your life, basically, if you are overly obsessive and compulsive. But that's that. Hey, the podcast picture I completely blew past, and I wish you good luck with your obsessiveness if you have it. I'd like to feature a picture, perhaps, from Lake Merritt. Oh, that's too bad. Do I have any good pictures of some fun things that I've done lately with my lovely lady friend? We've had some great conversations. There's a podcast we did a couple weeks back where we were talking about how she let a bunch of stuff go. I'm just going to go with a picture from the lovely Lake Merritt the other day. I was there in the evening. And, but I already did that picture. Shoot. This is the part of the picture, the show with the podcast picture. This always throws me off. Well, I'll find something and it'll be good, and I'll tell you about it at the end of the show. Next show, it'll be the wonderful... Oh, we haven't talked to our people today.
Hello, I'm Matthews, it's Chely Shoehart, good chef supervisor. You seem a little bit, I don't know, flustered.
Yeah, I'm a little bit flustered.
What is the matter with you?
I'm not sure.
Something must be wrong with you.
Don't yell at me. Yeah, I'm trying to find a podcast picture. That's what's going on. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, this is a pretty good mic. Yes, this mic is pretty good. I wish I could talk on it more often, but it's called, it's on loan here at Cafe Anyway. Located somewhere in podcast. Okay, so you can tell me what you think about all of these things we've covered in today's topics and the big question of what can be done in China. We need to solve that. Oh, and then I heard a lot about Buttigieg tying with Bernie. It's Bernie and Buttigieg. And people are going to butcher his name. They're going to butcher his name for the next several months. And yeah, he's basically replaced Joe Biden. Buttigieg has replaced Biden with all the Bernie, with a lot of B's in the Democrat race. But Buttigieg is more the moderate. And Biden was supposed to take that moderate spot for the Democrat Party, for all the Democrats that want a moderate. And then Bernie, of course, with the more progressives. But now it looks like instead of Biden, it's Buttigieg. So there we go. I think we'll bring you a picture from New Year's Day that I took with my lovely lady friend and Basil the Boxer. It was such a fun time at Half Moon Bay. How about that? Okay, sounds good. Going back to the beginning of the year, a reset. We sometimes have to hit the reset button from time to time. I think that was a thing. It goes back to Doctor Who. In Doctor Who episodes, a lot of times a reset button was hit, and everything you'd been watching got reset, and you're like, wait a minute, this is like an awful video game. What's happening? This is probably why a lot of people stopped watching Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat. He was the reason. He wrote a lot of Doctor Who episodes. Okay, I don't want to go on a Doctor Who tangent. I'm really not happy with the show these days. But next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Thanks for listening. Tell every single person you know about this show. Take it away, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!